Welcome back, my fellow creatures of the night, to Harlots of Spooktalk. I'm Karli, your favorite dark soul, and tonight we're taking a trip to Australia.
Oh, beaches, kangaroos, koalas, beautiful scenery.
And absolutely none of them are why we're here.
Nope, because hidden among Australia's breathtaking landscapes was a nightmare that terrified an entire generation of backpackers.
If someone tells you they found the perfect scenic shortcut through the middle of a forest, LD, maybe don't do it.
Especially if a person's offering directions and gives off the energy like, I definitely own 12 shovels for no reason.
Tonight we're diving into a horrifying case of Ivan Milat, better known as the Backpack Killer, a man whose crimes turned a dream case into one of Australia's most infamous murder investigations.
We'll talk about the victims, the investigation, the evidence, and the chilling questions that still linger decades later.
And yes, before anyone asks, this is one of those episodes where you're probably going to rethink accepting rides from strangers.
Or walking into a forest, LD.
Or trusting anyone who says, I know a quicker way. Okay, I do that too, so sorry.
Well, honestly, though, I don't even trust GPS half the time, so we'll just wing it.
She does not.
So grab your coffee, your emotional support blanket, maybe lock your doors, even though Ivan is very much dead, and let's unravel one of Australia's darkest true crime cases. But before we get into that, let's speak about today's sponsor, Cozy Earth. Before we head into tonight's nightmare, let's thank today's sponsor. If tonight's episode leaves you wanting to hide under the covers, at least make that incredibly comfortable. Today's episode is sponsored by Cozy Earth, creators of luxurious soft bamboo sheets, pajamas, and bedding that somehow make crawling into bed after listening to true crime feel like an excellent life choice. Get 30% off your order with the promo code HOST. That's HOST, HOST. Down below is the link. Don't forget HOST.
Because after this story, none of us are sleeping.
Oh, I'm sleeping.
With one eye open.
Welcome to Harlots of Spooktalk.
Oh, you think you got away? Oh, you think you got away? Harlots of Spooktalk. Harlots of Spooktalk. LD is your witch. Tiff is your investigator. Karli is your dark one. Oh, you think you got away? The candle knows your name. LD is your witch. Tiff is your investigator. Karli is your dark one. Harlots of Spooktalk. Harlots of Spooktalk.
Viewer discretion advised. This episode contains strong language, adult themes, potentially frightening content. Listener discretion is strongly advised. All content is for entertainment purposes only. Any true crime or historic information discussed is publicly available online.
Let's just jump into it, shall we? So, Ivan Milat was born on December 27th, 1944, a Capricorn, if you will, in Guildford,
birthday twins.
Yeah, almost. And it was in Guildford, New South Wales, Australia. And he was the fifth of 14 children born in the Croatian immigration parents with Stefan and Margaret Milat. The Milat household was known for being loud, strict, and pretty violent, like your typical, I don't want to say your redneck family, but we'd be like, you know, we'd be a little loud, we'd be a little strict. Sometimes we'd be a little like rambunctious. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, money was always tight, and again, with so many kids, discipline frequently came through physical punishment rather than conversation. So friends and neighbors later described the Milat family as intimidating and deeply private, and they were kind of like cliquish, so they didn't really allow outsiders into their lives as much, you know. Um, but growing up, Ivan developed a fascination with Australian bush. While many children
Australian.
enjoyed exploring nature, Ivan's interest seemed like a little bit darker. And he became obsessed with hunting, firearms, and tracking animals, which you might.
Okay, and that's not being dark. That's not
Right.
dark.
That's what I was explaining. I'm like, that doesn't seem like it'd be dark, but we're going into the
It's a
background
hobby.
little bit.
I know. It's a hobby.
So, but he showed very little motion after shooting wildlife, you know, and that's where relatives were called back then. So, looking back, investigators wondered if these early hobbies were the beginning of something much more sinister. But when trouble started was by the time he was 17. Ivan already had his first criminal record, which was theft, breaking and entering, assault, car theft, possession of stolen goods, armed robbery. So police were like watching his name, you know, and that was in the 1960s and 70s. So despite the repeated arrests, Milat almost always managed to avoid lengthy prison sentences. He always blamed other people, never took accountability, or convinced juries that there wasn't enough evidence. You know, the pattern he just kept escaping it, right? So, sorry, trying to get through it. But in 1971, Ivan married a woman named Karen. So that turned really abusive really quick. I don't know if y'all seen the movie, but it did. According to court records and later interviews, Ivan frequently beat his wife, threatened her with weapons, and controlled her nearly every aspect of her life. The marriage lasted only a few years before ending. Women who dated him afterwards described him as charming at first, but terrifying once they were alone with him. He could shift from friendly to violent within seconds. So now, when it comes to like working, ironically, Ivan worked for the New Wales Roads Traffic Authority, so his job required him to travel long distances across Australia. This became extremely important later because investigators realized he knew every back road, fire trail, logging road, and isolating areas around the Belongo State Forest. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. He drove a four-wheel drive vehicles and spent weekends hunting, of course. So he knew exactly where someone could disappear without being found. So long before the backpack murders, police suspected Ivan had committed dozens of assaults and disappearances. In 1971, two young hitchhikers reported being kidnapped by a man matching Ivan's description. The driver tied them up, robbed them, and threatened to unwind them before they could escape. Although Ivan was charged in that case, many charges were later dropped. And then through the 70s and 80s, numerous hitchhikers vanished along roads. Ivan frequently traveled for work. To this day, investigators believe he may have just far more victims than 7 murders he was convicted of. But no more murders.
Yeah, well, that's because, I mean, look how long it's taken for them to find other bodies of different cases everywhere
Right.
and expanding that. So there's a few of the victims. There was Deborah, James, Simon, Caroline, Joanne. Oh, cool. His name's Gaber. That's a cool name. Gaber, don't come for me. Is it Anja? Anja. I don't know. So he would tell these victims traveling stories before discussing how they disappeared. You know, like how they, I guess, met when they were traveling. So this helps the audience connect with them as people rather than just names. I don't even know if that makes sense. So about the forest, though, because that's where I don't even know how to explain. They said it's the perfect killing ground because it was a dense forest, miles of dirt road, very, very few visitors. So, it's a secluded area, perfect for hunters, almost impossible to search completely. So that's a key factor in this whole story, too, because who would think of going somewhere like that? It's kind of like, I'm going to go down yonder and we're going to go to some abandoned place and search it. Anyways, Ivan, usually he picked up a backpackers hitchhiking between Sydney and Melbourne. So he earned their trust, drove them deep into the forest, then he restrained them, robbed them, killed them using guns, knives, or both, hid their bodies under leaves and branches. So that's not a really good cover up, bro. One particularly disturbing aspect of the murders is that several victims suffered multiple types of injuries, suggesting prolonged attacks. Investigators believed he sometimes changed weapons during the killings. So it took, I guess, a few years. They found the first bodies discovered in 1992. More were found in 1993. There was a massive police search. And also it got, I guess, worldwide media attention. So that's crazy. And it was one of Australia's largest murder investigations. But you want to know a fun fact? I'm going to tell you anyways. So there was this guy. His name is Paul Onions. He was a British backpacker who accepted a ride from, is it Milat? In 1990. During the drive, he suddenly pulled over, retrieved a pew-pew, and began tying ropes around. Ooh. So Paul sensed something was terribly wrong. He escaped, ran into traffic, and flagged down passing motorists who helped him. Years later, after hearing about the backpack murders, Paul recognized Milat from news coverage and returned to Australia to identify him in a police lineup. His testimony became one of the prosecution's strongest pieces of evidence. Don't know why. Yeah, I just got the chills. That's
Now, the arrest, trial, and legacy. Police eventually focused on Ivan after Paul Onions, he identified him. Investigators searched his home. They found victims' clothing, sleeping bags, cameras, backpacks, foreign currency, weapons matching those used in the murders, ammunition, personal belongings linked directly to several victims. So pretty much a little hodgepodge of trophies, one would say. Many items have been kept as trophies or given to relatives, which prosecutors argued reflected his desire to relive the crime, saying because he gave some of the objects away, he did not want to use the objects to relive like most serial killers do. Now, the trial lasted months. More than 140 witnesses testified. Ivan claimed, "I've been framed." The jury disagreed. In 1996, he was guilty on 7 murder counts, guilty of attempted murder, guilty of robbery, and guilty of false imprisonment. The sentence: 7 consecutive life sentences plus 18 additional years. No possibility of parole. While in prison, he never confessed, filed numerous appeals, went on hunger strikes, swallowed razor blades and metal objects to force hospital visits, continued claiming innocence until his death. His death finally came in 2019. Ivan died from stomach cancer, and I'm not going to butcher that word, while he was still incarcerated. Even during his final interviews with detectives, he refused to admit responsibility and whether he had additional victims and where they might be, leaving many families without answer. So pretty much dick move at the end. Now the
And that
movies.
word is esophageal. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, because I was going to butcher it. Now I'm going to give you a fun fact about these movies. The first movie I'm going to name was actually filmed. I don't know if this was a remake in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. It's called Wolf Creek, loosely inspired by these murders. That's how I kind of thought of him, by the way, because of that.
I did watch that too. So that kind of like I saw that and I was like, wait, why does this name sound familiar?
I'm a big fan of, like, I think that it was a remake. I'm a big fan of local lore put into
Mhm.
movies. Even though this was Australia, it was still made one of them over here. Now, Wolf Creek, the new one, that's totally different. They do have a new movie out. Catch and Mullet is dramatized. A police investigation led to his arrest. Crime
That's the one I
investigation
watched.
Australia. Yes, Catchin
Yeah,
features an
yeah, that
episode
was,
on the backpacks. What? That one was good.
yeah, yeah. I like that one.
Born to Kill has an episode on him. Ceasefire, True Crime, a highly regarded multi-part podcast covering them murders too. So please check them out too. We're always here to boost other podcast up. So please check them out. But Wolf Creek, I'm going to say this one last time. The remake, I definitely would watch, but if you can find one of the originals from back in the day
Oh
when
yeah,
the
do it.
couple of directors decided to do this where I'm from, you got to look for that. But that is all with the movies and documentaries. I'm going to give it back to LD, and she's going to play a little factor fiction game with us.
Okay, but hold on, because you remember the show Dexter?
Yes.
It's
Oh God. Yeah.
he gave me some of those like kind of vibes when you were like saying about like the taking something from the crime scene and whatever.
Trophies.
I'm like, oh, that's like Dexter.
Most serial killers take trophies, but
It's so weird.
It is, but it's to relive. And he lied. He did it to relive it. He wanted to relive the passion, the feeling of taking somebody's life.
I just couldn't believe that he was being a big baby about it. You know, it's from what it sounded like it wasn't me, I didn't do it. I'm gonna swallow razor blades. You know, like get the fuck out of here. You did it, Onion Boy.
Yeah.
But it's like you have a surviving like witness. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's just.
But I'm going to say this one more time so nobody comes for me. I'm talking about the original, not the remake of Wolf Creek. So don't come for me. Look for the original.
Yeah.
Okay.
But originals are a lot better than the.
And it's B-rated, so.
Y'all, all right. What do you think? These are going to be fact or fiction.
True or false?
Right. True or false? Don't look at the answer.
Already did.
Already did.
Oh no!
I'm just kidding. I really didn't.
Disappointing my life.
You put it in
there. Exactly.
Ivan Milat has 14 siblings. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Damn. They had no hobbies. I'm sorry.
Making kids.
If you were listening to me in the beginning, you would know that's a lie. He had 13 siblings.
He's the 14th, so there's 14 altogether.
It's fiction. It's not a fact.
But there are technically 14 of them.
He can't count himself as a sibling, ma'am.
Yes, you can.
No,
you don't know if you have multiple personalities.
Exactly. You can be your own best friend.
All right. One victim survived and helped him identify him. Is that fact or fiction?
That's fact. That's the onion guy.
The onion guy.
Oh, yeah.
I love his last name.
I do too.
Ivan confessed before he died.
Oh, we all know that's false because he always blamed everybody else for his actions.
Up until his death. Like, shut up.
Right.
He thinks he's innocent. He did no wrong. Okay.
Okay, then did police found victim's belongings inside his home? Fact or fiction?
Fact, because he took trophies.
Fact.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? It's like, you know, like you said, he'll just hand off those things. Like he'll have a backpack and he'll give it to a family member without even, and they're like, wait,
Mm-hmm.
what? You know, that's creepy.
That is.
So, Wolf Creek was Wolf Creek was directly marketed as a true story about Ivan Milat.
We're talking about the new one. No, the newer one, right? Yes. No, it was loosely.
The old one, though.
It was closely, yes.
Yeah, so it was inspired by aspects of the case, but it's a fictional story.
Still go watch it. The newer one. Still go watch it. Sorry.
Yeah, last question. Ivan received the death penalty. Fact or fiction?
No, because
No.
Australia.
No.
No, but they did give him 7 life sentences. So
Plus 19 years.
yeah, I don't get that life sentence things. Like you're gonna die, come back to life.
Hell yeah,
Like
I think
another
they
sentence.
should.
Well,
I
the
think
thing is, like, I believe it's like, it's worse to stay alive and be in a cell with nothing to do and think about what you did wrong, why you're there. But that's just me, because not everyone thinks like that. But I think that's what the system wants you, why they do that. I don't know.
Maybe that's why they did it because they were like, if you think about it, like he's in there, he's having to face his reality. He did do this, but he's
Well,
not
it's
going to
also
admit to it.
money. It's also money during, like, because with death penalties, I'm pretty sure that's why they don't do a lot of death penalties, is because of the money involved in doing it.
Do they
In
not
some
over there.
states, no,
Yeah.
but some states in the US still do. I don't know about other countries. They all have their own different ways of
Well,
criminal justice. But yes, in the US, there are still a few of the states that do it, and Texas is definitely one of them. And Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, just to name a few. So a lot of the southern states still do it and believe in it, which is all okay with me, but you know, I want to torture you. I'm just kidding.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. If you agreed or disagreed, put it in below. And I hope you'll have a very safe night and don't go backpacking in the woods alone unless you're
LD.
having a good night. You know what? Actually, some people do need to connect with nature, but that's beside the point. Anyways, have a good night.
blessed to be.
Okay, bye.
Bye.